You are joining me on a random Friday. It's like 11 p.m. We're gonna hang out for a little bit. I want to talk about how I stopped hating my life and how I started to actually enjoy it. You know how people always say don't waste your life by waiting on the next thing. And I think we're all super guilty of that. I'm guilty of that I kind of like dread the here and right now. When you think about your past moments, I feel like there is a little bit of nostalgia, and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I enjoyed that moment more. Or at least for me, this is something very common. And I feel like lately I found a few ways on how to stop that. And I really want to share that so that you can also enjoy the present moment and not just wait for what's to come, you know? I think you kind of need to recognize your patterns because when I think about law school, I was always dreading it so much I couldn't wait to finish law school. And then when I finished it, I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what I want to do for a job. Then I did an internship. Also didn't really like that in the moment. Now looking back on it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. I learned so much and I met so many new people. Then I was unemployed again and I didn't like that at all, because it was like a huge of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? And now I'm working 9 to 5, my first 9 to 5 job. Okay, I don't want to waste every day, and I don't want to waste my life by hoping something changes, something gets better. So something that I really vividly remember is when I was in school, I couldn't wait to move out and have my own apartment, have a dog, and maybe even have a boyfriend. And now I have all of these things. And one of the things that I wanted the most actually was having my own apartment and not live at home. I never wanted to live at home. I absolutely hated it. And it is so crazy because you sometimes take it for granted, you know, because this is your life. And I've not been living at home for a while now. But I still try and remind myself so many times that this is exactly what I wanted, and I have it right now because my 18-year-old self would literally do anything to have what I have right now. And we need to take a moment to appreciate it, you know? Something that I also realized about my patterns is that when I was in school, in law, especially in law school, is that I was always super stressed, and I always told myself like, I don't have time. I don't have time because I have to study and I have to do this and blah blah blah. And now that I'm working 9 to 5, I catch myself doing that again. I'm like, I don't have time, I don't have time. And yes, I might not have as much time, obviously, as when I was unemployed. That does not mean that I cannot enjoy my day-to-day life. And I think you need to really try hard. It is really hard, but you need to try and really enjoy what you are having right now in that exact moment, because I always said about one of my favorite Taylor Swift quotes, and it's not even in that sense, but it's always something that really stuck with me, is when she sings "Nothing Lasts Forever," which is a very relaxing thought if you are in a phase in your life that you might not be enjoying as much, you know? When I went through really tough phases in my life, I was always like, nothing lasts forever. And the storm passed and everything was fine again. So what I want to say with that is, when I was in law school, I feel like I always felt kind of like guilty for not working, and I don't know, for kind of like being able to choose my own hours and study whenever I wanted to. I mean, I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that. But I also felt guilty because it was like everyone else is working 9 to 5. And I feel like my biggest regret is that I did not, I mean, I enjoyed it, but I feel like I never had to feel bad about this. You know what I mean? Like, there has not been one point where I should have felt bad for that. And I remember when I started law school, I just got Bowie, my dog, and he was still, you know, very young and very active. And we went on super, super long walks all the time. And sometimes I was a little bit overwhelmed with going on super long walks, which is obviously fine because, you know, you should always kind of like value your emotions. But at the same time, I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy it, but now he doesn't like to go on super, super long walks anymore because he's a little bit older. So we go on shorter walks. And sometimes I'm like, I wish we would go on a longer walk. That's why you need to enjoy every era, every stage of your life that you're in right now. You know what? Do that make sense? I mean, it's 11 p.m. I feel like nothing really makes sense at this point. I wrote down some notes, but they don't make sense anymore. So to sum the first point up, I recognize now that I'm working 9 to 5 that I have the same struggles, the same patterns since pretty much I was in school, especially when I was in law school. When I was unemployed, I was always stressed and I always kind of like told myself I don't have time for that and that and that and that. I was always in such a rush and yeah, I always had the same pattern. I want to stop rushing and I want to enjoy where I am in life right now. So, how do you find joy in the right now? Honestly, it really narrows down to very simple and basic things. I know that sounds very stupid, but I feel like this is what it is all about. I know social media is at a very different phase and stage at the moment, and it is very materialistic. And people kind of like try to sell you that idea that you have to go, 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 you have to hustle, you have to work out all the time, you have to almost not eat. And I feel like we're in a very toxic phase with, with social media at the moment. And there's this kind of like feeling in social media that you have to have certain clothes and makeup and skincare and so many materialistic things that actually no human ever needs, okay? But social media is it became so much of like buying stuff and all of these Amazon hauls, and you always need new outfits. I love buying something for myself, especially now that I earn money and make money and I can do that. I'm talking about the very excessive buying, always having so much makeup, so many clothes, so much stuff that you actually do not need. But what I also realized is shopping doesn't make me super happy. Like, I enjoy buying certain things, but if I buy too much of something, it also overwhelms me. Like, no one needs, I don't know, like 15 pair of jeans, you know what I mean? And having so much stuff is more of a clutter than it is a joy. Especially with social media, you focus so much on what everyone else is doing. I feel like no one really focuses anymore on what you want to do, like what do I want to do, you know? And I don't say that it's wrong to follow trends, I just say it's wrong to follow them because everyone is doing them. Because honestly, I love wearing my high-rise jeans no matter what other people are doing. I love wearing skinny jeans no matter what other people are doing. I don't have a liquid blush. I don't, I don't always follow up to all of the trends because I don't need to and I don't want to follow every single trend. I have a Stanley Cup and I love my Stanley Cup, you know? And social media portrays a very unrealistic image of what you have to do every day. And it portrays a way of people are living in these very clean homes where nothing lays around. And maybe for some people this is realistic. It's not realistic for me. There's so much comparison in social media. There's comparison in all the materialistic things that you need to do. There is this beauty standard that you need to follow because I know most people don't realize it, but so many people have procedures done, like they have lip fillers, they have so many fillers in their face, and they get surgeries on their body, and there is so much fakeness out there. And people are taking things and whatever crazy things people are doing, and they're showing their vacations, their luxury vacations, and going on Coachella, and it's all that's my dishwasher. It is all so excessive. And what I want to say with that is, I feel like you're never going to be happy if you chase these excessive things. And if you're like, I'm only going to be happy if I have this lifestyle and if I go to Coachella and if I go out in the fanciest outfits or whatever and have the picture perfect Instagram holiday. I don't feel like you will ever be happy if you chase that. Because I came to realize the less I am now on social media, the less I compare myself and the more I actually enjoy my life, like my actual life, not what I portray on social media, but how I live day to day. And I find joy in very little things. I find joy in walking Bowie in the morning, which sounds so simple, but I love the fresh air. I love that it's spring and I love walking him. I love spending time with him. And even when I go to work, I still find joy in the little moments because I can wear my cute office outfit and I I like my colleagues and I like seeing them in the office. I earn good money. And there are little things, you know. And then when I come home again, I this sounds so weird, but I love walking Bowie. I can do my little Pilates session, or I plan things with my boyfriend, or spend time with my family, or have a journaling session, or read my book. And that sounds, noted, that sounds super boring to most people, but these are the things, you know. Cooking yourself a nice meal. I love my home cooked food, okay? I love being healthy for myself, cooking healthy meals for myself. I do enjoy that, you know? And that's why I think you need to chase happiness in those little moments. I am so happy sometimes when I just see a sunset, or when I smell fresh bread, or, you know, it sounds so stupid, but it is about things like that. It is about genuine moments in the present. Like today, I petted a cat that was on the street, and she was so cute, and I was like, oh my god, we just made a friend, and it was so nice. And it is more about these little moments. It's more about enjoying your life instead of following what people sell you on social media. And it's not about how you portray your life on social media, or how you compare yourself to life on social media, because I promise you, life is not as good as some people might want to have it look, you know, that they have this picture perfect life. It's really about enjoying your own life and trying to find joy in your own life. I also wrote down cut off toxic friends. I remember back in the day, I really didn't like the way I lived because I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't dress the way I wanted to dress because I was in a toxic friend group, and I was always doing what they wanted me to do and how I could fit into the group. That was pretty much my whole focus. And ever since I cut them off, which has been years now, oh my gosh, I had such a development. Like, I mean, I didn't change overnight, but I was working so much on myself. I did things that I thought I would never ever do in my life. For example, sign up for a gym. That was for me like impossible, like literally impossible. Starting a YouTube channel, impossible. Look at me now. I mean, you know? And I would have never done that if I had my toxic friends and their toxic negative opinion. Yeah, cut off toxic friends. Work on yourself. Really try and become a better person. Every day I get reminded that if you are a nice and genuine person, it will come back to you, and not in a selfish way, but it doesn't cost anything to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be genuine. It doesn't cost anything to give out a compliment. And I believe that if you are a good person in your heart, good things happen in your life. You know, miserable people will always attract miserable things into their life. To sum it up, I feel like what I realized is that I had the same patterns, and no matter where I was in life, I was always waiting for the next thing. And everything always turned out fine. And everything always worked out. And sometimes even better than I expected it, or different than I expected it. And I worried about so many things that never came true. And I wasted so much time worrying about so many things. So many things. I also have anxiety, but still. I want to enjoy my moments now, and I don't want to stress anymore and wait for the next things, because one day your life is going to be over and all you did was wait for the next moment and never enjoying what you're doing right now. This is what I wanted to say, pretty much. That was pretty much the main point. If anyone is even watching this video, because what is this video even about? I don't know. I didn't even want it to film. Like, I wanted to film this video. I was so passionate about it. And then you know, when the moment goes away, I'm like, I don't think it was the best idea. And then I didn't want to film it. And then I was like, you know what? It's Friday night. Let's film that video. And because maybe someone can relate. Maybe someone has the same thoughts. And maybe someone, I don't know, kind of needs it. I'm planning on doing a video on how to romanticize your daily life, especially if you're working, but also maybe if you're in school, how you can romanticize and really enjoy each day, which each day is a little bit unrealistic because we all have bad days, but you know what I mean. Just, you know, how to make it a little bit better and have a good life, because this is what we're here for. You know, we want to have a good life, we want to enjoy our life. Our life is meant to be enjoyed, and not to be miserable and worried and stressed all the time. So yeah, I want to do that. So if you want to see a video on how to romanticize your life, subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. And yeah, I hope this helped in any way and it wasn't too random. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!